What's up, Desktoppers? Xavier Wills here for Desktop Bodybuilding, and we are back with another episode of Bodybuilding University with Stanmial, Stan Delonge up there in the top right-hand corner, and then Martin Fitzwater. Yes. Down there at the bottom, finishing off his meal. Out there in, where are you now? You're not in Denver, Colorado. Where are you now? Wyoming?
Yeah, I'm in Cheyenne, Wyoming, the capital of the state.
Oh, nice. I'll let you finish your mouthful and I'll go to Stan first. But man, Stan, how you doing, man? Out there in Vegas, how are you feeling now? I know you're like just getting your voice back, so I won't make you speak too much. But yeah, how's it all been?
It's been good, man. Like, a lot of people got sick. I got an IV right after the weekend, so I got, shout out that Lively Hydrates for making sure my immune system stayed good, so I didn't get sick. But I'm trying to recover my voice still. So, but yeah, no, it's nice. I'm still like on a deload week because I thought the weekend would be enough, but the weekend was exhausting, so I need a few days taking it a little easier. But I'm excited to get back at it next week, hopefully.
Yeah, for sure. Just like, are you just taking like a few days off training, essentially, or?
Yeah, just cutting down the volume and.
Oh, yeah, you're doing deload.
Yeah, let nobody really rest and recover from the few weeks since the show I've been pushing.
And the cool thing is about this episode, we're going to be talking about the 2022 Mr. Olympia, obviously, but both of you guys were there, which gives extra perspective, which is really cool. But Marty, what Olympia was this for you? Was this your first Olympia to go watch, or no?
No. My first one was 2018, right? That's when Sean won.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. That was my first Olympia, and then I've been to everyone since then.
Oh, nice.
But it was awesome, man. It was a cool experience and definitely different than any of them that I've been to in the past.
Yeah, and we obviously got to see Hadi Choopan win and become the 17th Mr. Olympia of all time, which is cool to see. And obviously, a lot of people were actually bagging me out about the way I pronounced. I was saying, Iran, but it's Iran. So a lot of people in the comments hated that. So he's from Iran, but it's cool to see because he's a guy that obviously has, Ariel mentioned it, Marty, and she said that, he can't obviously learn English as easy or maybe at all because of his hearing disability as well. So he's obviously battles that, has overcome that, become Mr. Olympia, and he's a family guy as well, which was sort of just, I suppose, learned a bit more. I suppose many people knew he had kids, but he posted up just, the other day after winning the Olympia, a photo of him and his family, like him and his wife, his kids, and all that sort of stuff. So he's almost like a Brandon Curry, but of Iran almost in a way now as Mr. Olympia, but obviously overcoming the hearing disability too. But what do you think about Hadi winning the Mr. Olympia, Marty? And what do you think, I suppose, about, just the whole competition over the whole weekend?
Hey, man, nobody deserved it more. I've been saying it for a long time. I thought this guy could have won in 2019. I thought he could have won in 2021. And he finally got what he deserved this year. So very, very happy for Hadi. It's like something that even Nathan said in one of our podcasts was like the political thing, like maybe because he doesn't speak English, maybe they wouldn't give it to him. And that glad to see that gets thrown out the window. He deserved it, and very excited for him, man. Like I said, my overall take, I think I told you this, but my overall take of the middle of the weekend was 5'7" guys in the middle. Both these guys, Derek and Hadi, my physique has potential to get to where theirs is with some due time, with some maturity, and with a little bit more size. So that's very, very exciting for me. And the future is bright. We saw a changing of the guards, in my opinion, or what's the beginning of that. And it's exciting, man. Bodybuilding's in a really, really good spot. Like I said to you guys, my only complaint of the weekend was how spread out the venue was, and the events, and between the expo and the show and everything. But at the same time, that's very minuscule as far as production goes. As far as the show goes, it was awesome. I'm still going to complain about it. I do not love that. You can see it, the background.
I'll go back to it.
Takes away from the athlete.
Yeah.
All that movement behind him, like it's hard to just focus on the guy himself and really give these guys a showcase of what they deserve. Those are my only two complaints, is the spread out and then I guess the background again, because we've talked about it a million times. But as far as everybody goes, man, I thought that this Olympia 2 was one that not a single political move was made as far as placings goes. The placings were dead nuts on where people placed is where they deserve to place. And I enjoyed it, man. It was a good show.
Yeah. Stan, I wanted to ask you, like, being there in person, like Marty mentioned, obviously how distracting it is, sort of the backdrop, because we heard from, I think, Dan Solomon and the guys from the Olympia, maybe it was just one of the podcasts they were mentioning about the actual entertainment value and how that brings, more celebrities to the Olympia and all that sort of stuff. So that's why they mentioned about the backdrops and all that sort of stuff, and why they put on such a performance to actually be there and not just doing it for the live stream. But obviously there's so many fans now tuning in, and being there in person as a fan, how do you feel about the backdrop of the Olympia and I suppose like the lights and how they sort of run things there?
Well, I think the background is distracting. I think that
because look, it's red on red there with like Ramy's color compared to that background. It's
like, it doesn't really detach. There's no contrast between the body and the background, so it's just harder to really appreciate the physiques. But no, they have like screen on the sides. They have like that stuff. I'm not opposed. I just feel like the background, like what's behind in the center of the competitors during like their routine and during the comparison, it should be like just a shut down black screen at least, if not a black curtain, just to make it, to really let the body shines, because after all, that's what we're there for, right?
Yeah. The idea I had was I think what they should do is almost between each competitor when they come out, they can have like, it's like 5-10 seconds where a thing goes on where it pops up the competitor's name or something.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then it pops up with sponsors, the logo of the Olympia or whatever, the competitor's name, maybe even their face behind it, whatever. Just something that looks cool, pops up the sponsors, and then as soon as they come out, the sponsors' logos go from the middle just to the outside. And look, in a wide, obviously this is just a very narrow video thing, but on the Olympia webcast, they can have it wide so the competitors, in that middle part, and what you'd see there on the screen now is black. And then outside that have the sponsors. So if you still want to have them on the screen, you can still see them in the competitors, at least in the individual comparison of the individual come out. Then at least it'll be black on photography photos at least. But,
and I know we don't have a lot of time now between because there's so many competitors, but I don't know if it was like that live. But if you look at old videos of the Olympia, you had like to announce the next competitor, you had like a short interview of the competitor and to introduce them before they get on stage. And I think that adds we got social media, but creating like some stuff like that would be awesome. Like having some during the year, following, like if the Olympia TV could like follow like the top 5, top 10 athletes and send them crews to like record some training, some stuff that they're doing, to create more like behind the scenes, kind of like with the UFC, like seeing like what leads to the battle, like all the preparation, all the things people are doing, what they're thinking, I think that would add another dimension to the show on stage. And then you could use those elements like that on some screens before the athletes come on stage.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Marty, would you be on board with that? Because I think that's something that's like, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with using the screen and advertising and putting up videos and commercials and all those things. Like, I think that's awesome. All I would ask is that when you pose, it goes to a black backdrop. Like Stan said, I just want to see the physique shine, and it takes away from it this much, and I don't love it. As a bodybuilder fan who loves bodybuilding and is solely looking at the physique, I don't care about the backdrop. And so I want to see it black. Now, when there's not a competitor on stage, damn right, I love it. I would love to see even more ads and stuff like that. And like Stan said, I think that would be really cool if they had some interviews and things like that from the athletes leading up to the show. Like, what did you have some struggles? Was it a tough prep or was it an easy prep? You know, like some of those things are fun to know.
Yeah, and make it super high, like production value as well. So make it so it's like Stan said, we used to have the Battle for the Olympia. That used to be to get that DVD because we were so deprived of seeing all this sort of stuff. It was so exciting. But if it was an official like thing that was put out, it was super high production quality. We knew it was going to be all the competitors basically. Like we'd see videos from, you know, and there's the money to do it there. You know, it can be done for sure.
I mean, they're starting to do that, I feel like, with the primetime show. Like, all that stuff is really cool. It's heading into that direction. And hopefully that brings more money and they'll be able to afford more things like that. I think that would be really, really cool.
Yeah, for sure. And I think even as well, like if I was in the US, that's what I'd be concentrating on doing. You know what I mean? Like traveling around the US and trying to video all these guys and link up with them and get like, not just for training, but like talking to them and getting the questions that the fans want to know and what, you know, but while everyone does videos, you know, Marty, you do them and you do a great job. Brett does them, Stan, you do them, like everyone does them. Well, not everyone, but you guys do. But the thing is as well, sometimes you might tell the fans certain things, but you might not be thinking of the questions that the fans might actually have, you know what I mean? Yeah. Or you might see them in the comments and answer them, but having someone there to ask those questions that you might not think to even answer or think's interesting, that adds like a different element as well. And if it's all in the one spot as well, then everyone knows they're going to, oh, okay, this guy's doing the Olympia. It might, you know, help your guys' actual reach as well to your channels, because people might watch a video of, you know, you, Stan, and they might not know you very well and go, I like Stan. This guy's all right. Like, I'm going to follow him on social media. I'm going to follow his YouTube channel. And they'll watch all your videos now. So it's converted one person and it's making you guys bigger, which in turn will bring more people to the Olympia. And really it's like the Olympia and the athletes feeding off each other to get bigger overall. And I think it's a great idea. I think they need to definitely look at doing that. But what they're doing so far is really good with the Primetime Muscle Show and all the other shows that we've got on there as well. So it's cool to see, man. It's real cool to see.
For sure.
Let's discuss the Olympia a little bit. So did you guys see the classic? We've got Chris Bumstead on the screen right now, obviously the eventual winner. Who saw it?
I didn't see prejudging.
Yeah.
Okay. So you both saw finals?
Yeah.
Cool. So what did you think being there in person overall? Was it a slam dunk for Chris Bumstead? Stan, you can answer it first.
For me, it was a slam dunk. It was not even close. It feels like Chris is just much like wider than everybody else, just bigger. And the conditioning he brought this year is just next level. So he was much fuller than ever and better conditioning. And I don't think Ramon was even close to him, to be honest.
Yeah. No, Marty?
Million T-Rex comments. I'm giving you shit.
Chris was
no, man. He was very, very dominant. Chris was for sure the clear cut winner. Question: how old is Chris?
He is 28, I think.
Okay.
Or is he older?
Might
be older. I don't know.
Okay. My guess was he just turned 30. Because I feel like he got a level of muscle maturity this year that he never had.
He's only 27 years old.
Really? Okay. So, well, whatever him and Hani did, it definitely increased his muscle maturity. Because I don't think he was a lot heavier on stage, but he looked bigger and he looked so much harder. Like it was very clear that he was far better athlete this year.
But I ran into him like by chance Saturday night when I was heading to finals of 212 and prejudging of Men's Open, and he told me that, you know, he like Hani filled him up like he's never been full before. But which I didn't know, because leading up his pictures, he didn't look like super, you know, ahead like condition wise or anything. But you know, like Hani is gonna make it happen. But I think that was his best condition to date also.
Oh, for sure.
So it just had a certain granite look to it. Like it was just totally different. So I thought that was real cool to see, because that's something in classic as well, because obviously you can't, at a certain point, you can't get any bigger. So how do you get better? It's like get grainier, you know, it's like, and then you got guys like Breon, he's at an age already where he's pretty grainy and his physique's more going to go the other way, if anything. staying at the same weight. So that's why he's moving to 212.
Conditioning is insane, dude.
Yeah.
He was very good, man. He actually surprised me, I thought.
Yeah, he just literally, his muscle bellies aren't the same as Chris's, and Chris is taller, so he gets more weight, like ratio wise.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
So, I mean, I thought all the top three were crazy impressive.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, Uris and Ramon both are. You can just see that they're much younger athletes than Chris. You know, probably haven't been training just as long, and you can just kind of see that, you know.
Yeah. And I suppose Urs has been training since he's been pretty young, and he's 24. Chris is 27, so that extra 3 years of muscle maturity, and you can see it on Ramon as well. People can see certain shots and certain like photographs and stuff like that on Instagram, but when you're watching the live stream, like you look at that and you go, wow, that's pretty impressive. But if you have an eye for bodybuilding, you can actually look at the muscle and see how that looks and compare it to
well,
this.
Man, in person it's like even way more drastic, to be honest, you know.
And look at his glutes as well.
Think about what you can do in 3 years. I mean, shit, Stan, 3 years ago, were you men's physique?
No, but I was classic.
Okay. I know it was close, like probably 4 years ago then you were men's physique, right? Okay. Yeah. I mean, I just think about Brett was literally won his pro card in classic physique 4 years ago.
Yeah.
3 years ago.
So crazy.
Yeah, 3 years ago.
That's
and it's like, and I was an amateur bodybuilder 3 years ago. So like you can get a lot done in 3 years in bodybuilding, especially when it comes to building maturity. So, you know, these guys underneath him, they're just going to get wilder and wilder. So it's cool that they're going to push him and see what he can really make of himself.
Yeah, because you look at Chris now and you go, how much better can he get?
He's going to have to get better to keep winning, but like he is a big step ahead of these guys. But I feel like these guys will make big strides coming soon, you know.
Well, I don't know how, because Ramon almost didn't make weight.
Well,
hasn't much time.
Again, man, he just needs to improve on maturity of the muscle and get harder and denser, keep that condition longer so it sticks out more. If he even wants to do that, I would love to see Ramon go to open, to be honest.
I think he can improve a lot just by his posing also.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Like he can improve a lot as a bodybuilder altogether, but I think his physique has potential to go open if he wanted to.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think as well, like, because I don't know if next year they're going to change it and put the actual classic weigh in and heightening in, depending if they do that still whatever contest next year, which they've got to do one a year. Is that what we agreed on? Because we did a bit of this podcast yesterday and then had to cancel it. But did we agree that they all should be heightened in once a year and then just
Well, they should be heightened like once they turn pro and that's it.
Once ever, yeah.
Like once you're pro, you have your height. If you want to challenge it once a year, I'm not opposed to it. But you get what you get. You know, if they measure you shorter, then you're shorter. So it's your risk.
Yeah. Like if you want to attempt to heighten it again, you can do it once a year or something.
Yeah, something like that. But honestly, like over time with all the training and getting older, there's only one way we're going to go, and it's shorter, and you shouldn't be allowed less weight because you're a little bit shorter than when you turn pro. So
because you're squatted heavy.
What about if you were pro for 20 years, though?
Huh?
What if you were pro for 20 years and you lost 2 inches?
Still, I don't think they should reduce your weight limit.
Yeah, it'd probably fuck with your physique shrinking 2 inches anyway.
Yeah,
not in a good way. So
hurt your physique anyway. So
yeah, absolutely. What did you guys think of Terrence Ruffin? Because he dropped from being a guy that's literally always been second to Cbum since, you know, obviously. Even when Breon dropped out of being Mr. Olympia, I think he had 1 year where he's second, and then Terrence bumped Breon. What did you think about his placing? Because he was down in 5th place, I believe, after Mike Summerfield. So what did you guys think?
Well, I think I don't know if I haven't talked to him or anything. What I've heard is that he was holding some water. So I don't know if he over carved up because of the extra time and he spilled over. I'm not sure, but I'm sure we'll see him back in the top really soon. I think they just missed his peak.
Yeah, I think so because he's looking pretty. What do you
I
think?
this the predictions was if you missed even this much in classic physique,
Yeah.
you were gonna slip, and that's what happened, man.
Yeah.
I thought he still looked incredible, man. Just the crispness of these other guys, conditioning shined through.
Yeah, because he just doesn't have that same level of hardness. He looks like, I mean, you still see some lines in his tricep and everything, but it's just not. Maybe he just needed to be harder. Was it just hardness overall, or was it a muscle factor too?
I think it was purely a peak thing, like Stan said there. Like I think they were just didn't nail it to where he was dry when he needed to be. I don't think he was too off because at finals his glutes looked pretty good in the last comparison they got. But then he didn't get a pose, so that was kind of sad.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see it.
He didn't. He didn't
No, Mike Summerfield got 5th, bro. He got 6th.
Who got 4th?
Um,
I'm confused. I thought Mike Summerfield was 4th.
Maybe Mayer. Hold on. Chris, Ramon, Urs, Brion.
Yeah, Brion got 4th,
Oops,
and
my
then
bad.
Mike Summerfield got 5th.
Oh, so Terrence didn't. Oh, that's so ridiculous.
Mayer, I think. No, and then Terrence was like 7th.
Yeah,
I think
I think Terrence was 6th, but I'm not sure.
I think it was 7.
But he didn't get a pose, man, and that set.
Yeah, it really. I mean, in classic, it should. I think all this stuff should be considered because, like in classic, the posing is so good. I don't know. I should probably take this guy off the screen because we're not talking about him. But the posing is so good in classic, and Terrence Ruffin is obviously so good, and they're not obviously expecting him to miss out on the top 5. But there's so many good routines and so many good poses.
Yeah, he was 6, you're right.
There's 65 guys, I think, or 61 guys or something like that in classic. So 61 guys would have prepared a routine and 5 of them got to do it. So what, 8% of people prepared a routine got to actually do it? Like, and that's going to not motivate the guys that are, probably going to finish equal last to even prepare a routine or do anything special for a routine. So I think that just sucks. Like, they should be able to perform it somewhere. Like, have say, in the expo, we're going to have on this stage, we're going to have the guys that finished this place to this place, and they'll be placed, we'll tell the placings down to 15th or something. Because that's something like, as a fan, you'd still be interested to see if you're just wandering around the expo while the other event's going on at least. So they're not just going to pre-judging and being like, sorry guys, bad luck, you're all done. Because it's a little bit of an anticlimax to be a competitor and get that, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe they could just do it like an extra side pot that's like 5,000 for the best.
Yeah. Battle of the best of the worst. I don't know. But of the best because it's the Olympia. I don't know. But anyway, let's move on. Let's discuss the Open Mr. Olympia because we had obviously Hadi Choopan winning it. We mentioned that. But I want to do a few comparisons. And one of them I wanted to do was this one because it seemed pretty interesting to me. And it was between Big Ramy and Samson Dauda. So this was obviously Big Ramy was 5th place in the Olympia. Samson Dauda was 6th. It seemed like Samson got some more comparable, I suppose, comparisons at pre-judging where he's moved in a little bit more than, or maybe Ramy I don't think was moved in at all. But he's at least moved in a little bit. So I thought, okay, Ramy's probably 6th then, or first, because some people obviously have that opinion. Being there in person, was the consensus that it was definitely Big Ramy not winning, or did some people walk around there saying, I think Big Ramy's won?
I mean, if you were saying that, you lost your mind.
The first time it had ever happened, like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, dude. Like, I watched 2013 on videos of Phil, and Phil was that dominant, and they sent him to the side, and like, dude, it's just like, I don't think we probably won't see that again, to be honest.
Yeah, but they put him back though. They're like, no, Phil, you're too good. Go back.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I mean.
They don't keep you on the side. They don't keep you like on the line, but on the outside.
Yeah, they would. They send you back, bro. They would send you back.
Yeah.
But the thing that seemed weird though, and someone did mention it might have been a respect thing as well, is that Ramy was on the outside the whole time at prejudging. I think it was. Maybe he got moved in once, but the whole time I watched it, he was just on the dead outside. And he didn't get compared with any of the guys on the inside at all. And he didn't get compared to the second call out. So that's what was tripping me out. I was like, that's unusual that he's not getting those comparisons. And he's not even standing next to Samson. He wasn't even compared to Samson, though. That's the thing. And I think this was at finals eventually. So
I think he was.
Was he? I might be wrong there.
I know he was to Nick for a long time, but
yeah. So what they did, in my opinion, was they moved someone to the inside where Nick was to compare them again for that outside spot instead of having to move Ramy.
Yeah.
Like,
it's interesting.
But like, I mean, dude, when Ramy's glute shots were glaring, like
in person, that noticeable.
Horrible, dude. Like that was the first thing I noticed when he turned around. Like it wasn't glute striations. It was like, damn, Ramy, why did you do that?
Yeah, and he's pulled him right up too. Like maybe he could have actually even covered it a little bit with his trunk.
Yeah, I don't know, man. They were bad. So that was disappointing. And then, bro, he put on a lot of weight this year, and it just looked like a lot of it went to his waist. His taper and stuff just wasn't the same, man. He wasn't Ramy. And we all said, even though we all said, oh, we think Ramy's going to win, every single person said if he comes off, he's going to lose. We just didn't think he was going to come off. But to be honest, after seeing this video that Dennis posted and said he was like perfect, I don't think he was any better here than he was at the Olympics. No. He looks exactly the same. He just don't have a damn tan on.
Do you think though, if we saw this a week out, people would have still been saying Ramy's going to win, or would there have been more concerns?
No, I think if you see him like that, because he's fuller here, you know, they haven't pulled the water, so he looks thicker, but like he's looking pretty good condition, so he looks like close, you know, like you see that 1 week out, I think. But the thing is, once you stand on stage next to the other guys, right away it jumps at you, you know, like this is missing, this is missing, this is missing. His midsection was super soft, like wide. He lost a lot of his X-frame. His legs did, you know, here they look full on. They still like, but I don't know. But when he's on stage, it just looks flat and with those weird holes, and the lines don't go, you know, all the way through. Here the lines kind of look like they go all the way to the hips, but not on stage.
I wasn't watching everyone's channels like leading up to this Olympia, but I mentioned the quad holes because to me they look dramatically worse in the lead ups. So I was like, I don't know, one of those quads looks like it has a.
We didn't really get to see them in the lead ups. That's the thing. He was always covering them, and not many people really thought about it because people were like, well, his legs not going to be a problem because everybody knows the size of his quads, but he was probably just hiding them already then for that reason.
We did see him when he guest posed. Dennis James actually put up some photos. I think it was the day after up on Instagram, and they're the ones that because I did a video on it because I was like, "Is this an issue?" And
strength and power.
Okay, and I asked, "Is this an issue?" You know, and I said, "Look, I don't think this one individual issue will be enough to stop him winning." But I said it definitely could. And if it gets worse each year, like at what point does this make him lose the Olympia? Like if it just keeps deteriorating and getting worse. And then some people, you know, obviously Ramy's camp understandably was saying that, they were there before. It wasn't an issue. So what's the issue now? And I was sort of like, yeah, but maybe they're getting a bit worse. And that was obviously the case. And in the comments, honestly, it's the thing I got roasted about most this year. They're like, you don't know bodybuilding because you're saying this will be an issue. Like, these people have these shots. You don't know what you're talking about. So it was pretty crazy the way people reacted. But it seems like, you know, that was just one of the many factors as well as the triceps and all that. But Stan, I'll go to you. What do you think was the biggest factor for Ramy? Was it like the triceps? Was it the back? Was it the quads?
I think it was the combination of it. But one thing for me is just his midsection looks very washy and wide. He lost a lot of his X-frame. And then when you're next to guys like Derek, it's like, you know, the difference is so crazy. It's just even Samson, you know. And then he's not opening his back. That was one thing. It's like, why is he not opening, like, letting his shoulder blade roll out? It's on track to get that thickness, but he's losing all the width.
And what I want to show you guys as well, I think I actually highlighted it possibly in another video where I talked about it. And I saw some fans saying, but no, he's trying to get the detail. That's why he's pulling his back like that. And I'm like, if a bodybuilder does that and loses inches off your lats,
Inches, yeah,
you're crazy. Like there's no way that should be deliberate.
You're not going to close your back like that. No, for sure.
Yeah.
But
so you see how pinched it is there.
It happened to me before, like putting too much water and not being able to feel my back and having that kind of issue. You're trying to feel it and you just close it off because that's the only way you feel it, but you just don't connect with it,
And sometimes you can contract it too far. Like if you're trying to squeeze your back and then you're crunching it in. Like I've had clients before, but I'm like, just relax and push your elbows as far out to the side as possible and it will just happen, like just naturally,
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it's bad as well. Marty, you've obviously done a lot of posing leading up to your contest last year. Like I know you're doing tons of it. Is that something, did you have like little tricks and little techniques to pop your back? Because obviously it's a strong point for you.
Yeah. I mean, I have really, really good mind to muscle with my back. So I feel like even when I'm like super flat, it don't really lose my back yet. I'll lose my glutes and my hamstrings before I lose my back. And even then I kind of have like a foot placement that I know that that they're going to be locked in. But it's really, man, it's just a matter of doing it thousands of times and having somebody watch you and tell you like, okay, you're in the perfect spot. Stay there. Think about how it feels. Stay there. And then even that way you've done it so many times that you don't have to think about it. It's just there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the gyms, that's what you're supposed to be doing. So that's the thing. I don't know why it hasn't been addressed before.
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
Just putting too much water at the end too fast.
Yeah.
But when we look at this though, when he does his relaxed, like to me, I was surprised to see him do it. Wait till he gets into it.
He's got a scar on his stomach too, and I haven't noticed that before.
Yeah, I didn't notice that either.
Oh, he crunches it back there too.
Yeah, and he holds it there too. And Dennis James is talking him through this. I'm like,
he never opens it.
Yeah,
I think that they wanted to try to make it look like he has low lats when we all know he doesn't have low lats. It's okay.
Do you reckon that was the reason? Do you reckon they changed his posing? Because to me, that was an insane change of posing. Like, you're better off to have a way better V-taper, especially on Ramy, like rather than trying to. Yeah, that's craziness. And also the front double bicep, the way he did it on stage. So he's doing it like that here, and then he crunches down. But see how tight it is there, and it's still, I don't, it's not too bad.
I think his shoulder blades are still pinched backwards, even when he's doing the front double there, because he looks narrow. He never used to.
The way he crunches down your wrist.
To be honest.
But when he crunches, he brings his hands down too. Like, I don't know. So that the all lats are not like opening up.
Yeah. It's just more midsection, not more lower lats. And the lats up here actually disappear.
He just wasn't better in any way, shape, or form, man. And then, like we said, if he was off, he was gonna get beat. So that's what happened. We all expected him to fall that far.
No. Now Samson here, obviously, like he's not the most conditioned guy in this lineup. And we said, Samson will have to be in all-time best condition to be in that top 6. And maybe he was all-time best condition, but I think it was somewhere around his, better conditioning levels. But he's obviously got amazing structure, amazing shape, small waist, balloons out, like the arms are crazy here. Ramy looks like he has more granite, sort of a little bit more hardness overall, but he's got a weird sort of, almost like, the way to explain it is like a stressed look to his quads. Like when you see him moving, you can sort of see they're hard, but they're not, looks like there's like water or something under there where it just doesn't look, and the skin doesn't look right. I don't know. There's something about it. Who would you have winning that pose?
Samson, personally.
Yeah, probably Samson, to be honest, just because of V-taper alone.
Yeah.
and there, Samson's conditioning is pretty, like, matchable.
Yeah.
I think like here, you could give it to Ramy, but you could be either way. Any shot Ramy turns to the back, in my opinion, he loses because of the glute shots. but I don't know how they're going to judge that.
Because you look at Samson's hamstrings there, and he obviously has such a dark complexion, but there is detail on those hamstrings, especially on the inner part there.
And dude, in person too, Samson, like you can see, like he's not far off, man. Like I said, I truly think he just needs to be in really good condition a couple times, and then it will really shine through. Like I don't necessarily think he's not body fat lean. I just think he needs to like continue to thin his skin and keep like carving those details in deeper and deeper every time.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's a great look on stage. Like his shine and everything there looks
he's beautiful
on the stream.
His shape's awesome.
And this is like, it looks like Ramy's not opening up here. When I play the video, this is how he stays.
Yep.
So that, like, you look at the difference, like Samson is very wide across his shoulders too. And the way the waist goes in and the lats come out. And yeah, Samson's glutes don't look hard there, but his hamstrings are hard. His back's crazy. Like I have Samson winning that one, even though maybe just overall at first glance, he doesn't look as hard as Ramy. Stan, who you got? Stan, who you got?
The X frame for sure, Samson. Like just the symmetry.
No, I totally agree. And I'm not saying that Ramy deserved to lose to Samson necessarily, but these individual shots we're seeing,
I think you can make strong arguments for Samson placing fifth. Yeah.
Yeah, because there, like Samson, I think beats him there because Ramy's back is completely crunched in, so he loses his shape.
Do you know what the score was?
I can check it, but I know Samson actually, Ramy at finals did worse. So he had 25 points at prejudging, and then he had 27 at finals. So I actually wondered to myself, did one or two judges just have Ramy winning? I'm like, no, surely not. But it seemed weird because Ramy did seem better at finals watching on the live stream to me. But maybe that's because he's moved around more too. So I don't know. What did you guys think? Did you think Ramy was better at finals or prejudging?
I think Ramy got better for finals, but I think everybody else got better as well.
Yeah. It's because do you think it's because of the whole time issue with prejudging?
Yeah.
Because it got pushed back so far, you mean?
Yeah, because they went on stage at what, like 11 p.m. or something? Yeah, and that's late, especially because it's West Coast.
I think Ramy was pretty flat, to be honest. So it could have been. He could have needed another meal, and that would have gave him that like little bit extra pop.
But I honestly think it was a massive issue, to be honest. Like, I was thinking about what time it was, and I saw some stories got from a few of the competitors at like 10 p.m. They're like, oh man, we're tired. Da, da, da. I'm like, you guys still weren't going on stage for over an hour. I'm like, that's rough. And they didn't get off stage till what is pretty much midnight. Yeah. And that's West Coast. So that's 3 a.m. 3 a.m. East Coast, something like that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But obviously, we mentioned this when we did the first little bit of our other podcast, moving it to a new venue as well and just getting the logistics down. I mean, there are some things there that most people would say, okay, that's obvious, but it is hard to do, obviously. And I don't know if you mentioned it, Marty. I think you maybe mentioned it. But yeah, you said obviously on the Olympia side saying that, logistically it's a hard thing to move an entire event, and we've moved it sort of year to year. Next year they're back in Orlando, but at least they're familiar with that venue.
Yeah. I mean, my thing is like I said, is like I think if it would have been at the Orleans, it would have been a little smoother ran just because they know the venue. It's easier, they had the backstage a little bit different. Like this place was completely new. They didn't have any clue how they were, how it was going to be, how long it was going to take to get people seated, let people in, all that kind of thing. So, next year it'll definitely be smoother again back in Orlando in a place that they know. And everything is all right there in one spot there at Orlando, which is nice.
It was funny when you said, and everything is all right there. I was like, yeah, no, that's pretty much correct in terms of the government. So I'm like,
no. I mean, it's all right. Is all right in one spot, and like the only thing like I said on the last time was that as a town, if you want to go out and the pool parties and that kind of stuff, Vegas is a little bit cooler for that. But Orlando's still cool. It's just more like Disneyland or Disney World or whatever.
Well,
Yeah.
the pool party in December is not the best, but yeah.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, you weren't having no pool parties this year, but next year it'll be a little better timing.
November, yeah.
Yeah, because the first week of November would have been for the Olympia this year as well, obviously, if they had the date available. Because what's the temperature like in, like, just say end of October, start of November there, Stan?
I mean, it's switched. In November, it's really from one day. Yeah, November has been cold almost. Yeah, all November was cold, but
Oh,
it's
really?
like there's no transition in Vegas. It's like hot, then super cold, and then hot, and then super hot.
Yeah. I went there in September and it was pretty hot then. I know it was like, I don't know what it
Yeah,
would
but
have been
then it's
Fahrenheit.
around October, November. That's when it shifts. So it kind of like. But I think they're trying to move it back to October, September. So the following year should fall in October, and then that should still be pretty warm.
Yeah, I feel like there'd be such a difference between October and November.
Yeah.
Ideally, do you guys think that Olympia should move around like country to country or state to state and things like that, or do you think it should all just always stay in Vegas, like from here on in, or like one in every 10 years move it to another country or something, or what in an ideal world, if you could pick and that was the decision forever, what would you stand? I think you'd keep it in Vegas because you live there, but
No, yeah, no, but not just for that. Just because I think it's such an adjustment. When you travel, like if it's always the same, at least you know what to be prepared for. You know what kind of food you can find. All that stuff. So if you go like Americans, go to like somewhere in Europe, and you're used to like your rice cakes, your this, that, you're gonna get there and you're not gonna find anything you're used to. So I mean, you're gonna tell me the European has to adjust to, but in the other way. But if it's always at the same spot, you know what to expect, and that makes it easier over time. Like your first Olympia, you kind of like gauging everything. Second Olympia, you start to have like a good idea, and then from your third and on, you have a very clear idea what you need, what to get, where to get it, where to train, all that stuff. So that makes it much easier and less less things to think about.
yeah, for sure. I definitely like to have it back in Vegas because, like, I remember going there in 2016, and I didn't get to have the full experience because it was partly for work. So I was like, I want to come back here, and then have the full Olympia experience as a fan. And I didn't get to do that, unfortunately. So I was like, damn, I want to do that. And next year, I'm like, it's in Orlando. Damn, like I just want that Vegas experience for the Olympia. But Orlando's still cool, at least, like compared to some places where it could be, I guess. But yeah, I think I'd love to see it back in Vegas and that to be like a regular home for the Olympia for sure.
Yeah,
But one guy I wanted to discuss as well, especially before we wrap this up, is Derek Lunsford, who really made a big splash at this Olympia. After prejudging, people were saying that, there was a case for him potentially winning. Most people were on the side of, well, in my stream, there's actually a lot of people on the side of Hadi Choopan, actually. On the side of Big Ramy winning. I think on my live stream, it was 71% said they think Ramy's winning the Olympia on the live stream. So, which was pretty crazy during prejudging. And I said, I have no idea what this means. That's what I said, because I said he's on the outside. And
I remember you were I remember you were surprised in the group chat when I told you he's getting at the most fourth place.
Yeah. Because I was thinking to myself, like, I did say, does this mean Big Ramy's going to finish in fifth or sixth, or does it mean he's going to win? I was like, I said, I honestly have no idea, because on the live stream as well, they had the video angle, like it was slightly from the left-hand side, and Big Ramy was on the far right. So it made Big Ramy look smaller, but I was like in my head going, he looks smaller because, and just, you can't see him as well in terms of the lighting because the camera angle. So I was sort of making excuses for him and going, oh, we don't know. But then I was like, why wasn't he at least put in the middle once? And I was like, And so I finished my stream and I was like, I have no idea. I'm like, surely that means maybe he's winning because they didn't even move him around. Because that's what tripped me out. They're not moving around because that's what I've never seen before. But I was like, I just thought to myself, I'm like, because he's Mr. Olympia, they would have given him a shot. And and then I was like, okay, it means, because I think I actually saw what Nick Strength and Power put out. I was like, okay. I'm like, he said it. I'm like, okay, that's, you just sort of think that must be right because he'd be pretty. And obviously that got made into a bit of a parody by, obviously some other channels. And Chris Aceto actually put something up on that as well. So I've got a video that's about to come out on that. Actually, probably will be up before this one goes up because that's about to go up as soon as I get off here. But what did you guys, I suppose, like think of Derek Lunsford and what he brought to the stage? Because I thought he was absolutely fantastic, amazing. The improvements in 1 year. People were predicting him, some people outside their top 10 at the Olympia this year or right on the cusp of 10th. Marty, what did you think of Derek Lunsford firstly? Because I know you're encouraged by guys like Derek, like Hadi, doing so well at the Olympia, considering like the height factor as well.
I absolutely love it, man. He looked incredible. He did exactly what I expected and more. I had him in third. The two people I had above him completely dropped the ball, so there he went, man. And he killed it, dude. Really, the only place that Hadi beat him was chest and arms and overall density, and it's only a matter of time before Derek's the champion in open too.
Yeah, I think so too, man. Like, I think that's his destiny. Stan, do you think that Derek's going to win an Olympia or multiple Olympias?
I think he's got all the tools for it, for sure, yeah. I mean, he arrived in 212, he destroyed everything. You know, then he had a couple years where he's trying to figure stuff out, and then he found his own with Hani, and he's been killing it since then. So I'm expecting a lot of improvement coming into next year. But the crazy part is that he doesn't really need to improve. You just need more muscle maturity. It's just time.
Yeah. That's the thing as well. And we've mentioned it, and I've mentioned it in previous years, and I didn't know how much was like a fullness factor and how much was just, I suppose, like a muscle maturity factor. And we see it in his chest. And when you actually compare his chest last year, because he was in the 212 winning and not, right up in the open against the top guys in the world, people didn't point it out as much, but you still saw from the front side last year, the chest was very flat. It wasn't hard. It was actually, when he squeezed his chest in this year, there actually were more lines than last year. But I think it's just year by year, it's going to get better. And even in his back as well, there's still areas where there can be a little bit more hardness too, which is crazy to say because when you see that overall back pose, especially when you're back and you see it in the lineup, that back double bicep looks absolutely insane. So,
the whole theater went crazy when he hit, front relax, front double, back double. It was just like, whoa, like, what is this,
Yeah. I was most impressed with him in the individuals. So after the individuals, I was like, can Derek Lunsford win the 2022 Olympia? I was like, whoa, this guy
I think
was
he left
crazy.
the strongest impression after the individuals. It was him and Hadi, definitely. They just,
and even then, Hadi was the first person out, so it was like
exactly.
you had nothing to gauge it against. So it wasn't as much of a wow factor. Then you had a couple underwhelming guys.
Hadi first came out,
and then you had Derek go, and then it was like, this is sick.
Yeah, and Hadi, the thing about Hadi, like, I don't know, Stan, if you saw this, but when he turned to the back, I think as he got way better as prejudging went on and he's better at finals. But when he first came out, I literally said on my live, I said, I don't know if Hadi's going to be a factor because I was looking at him and looking at the comments a bit. And when he turned to the back, his back was definitely not as hard as last year overall, but it was much bigger. So when I saw that him pull back, he pulled his elbows back, I said, I don't think Hadi's on. I said, I don't think he's going to be a factor this year.
I thought the same. Since he came out first and he wasn't as sharp as we've seen him. I mean, he got way sharper as the prejudging went on. But when he first came out, and since we had no points of comparison, and for me, he didn't look like, I was like, oh man, he missed it, which is weird because I couldn't tell the added size by himself, but I could tell his conditioning wasn't as sharp as usual. And then he kept posing, kept getting tighter and tighter. And then you could see like the size he added this year was like allowing him to really stand ahead of everybody else.
Yeah. I was overall very impressed. Like the level of conditioning actually from the front, even the conditioning from the back, even at finals wasn't what it was in the past. It was still better. And then his conditioning from the front because of the extra size and just like the granite look he has, it blew people away. And that's where I think if Derek won the Olympia, people would have been posting the front shots of like the hands together, most muscular, being like, how did Derek beat that? Because when Derek does his front most muscular, it's not that. You know what I mean? In terms of the maturity and those abs, the chest, the shoulders. That's what is just so impressive there. And that's where Derek is a little bit behind. From the back, I think Derek beats him, but he only beats him by a bit. And from the front, Hadi wipes him. So it's like that's sort of how it goes, I think. But,
yeah, and I think even Hadi wins the side shots because of how hard his chest is, and like his side chest is nuts.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But I think that, I think Derek probably wins 2 to 3 shots. Hadi probably wins the rest. And I think though, it's not like a foregone conclusion next year. Like Hadi will probably be the favorite to win it, but Samson, Derek, like
almost done.
Who do you think, Marty, is the next guy in line to actually, win the Olympia out of this group? Because you've obviously got Samson, you've got Derek, you've got Nick Walker, you've got a whole bunch of guys right there.
Yeah, man. In my opinion, it's Derek. I really think Derek's the next guy. He has everything it's gonna take. And the one thing he has over everybody else is that waist, man. Until someone can come and match him with the waist and the ratios, he's always going to win the front double. He's always going to win the back double because he gets in good shape. So he can improve in some shots, like his front lat spread. He can improve there. He can improve in his side chest and his most muscular, but man, when he does, he's going to be dangerous, dude.
And I quickly want to touch on.
I love Nick. I love Nick. I think he does have the potential. The thing about him is he's a workhorse, man. So you never know what he can do. To be honest, he's surprised me more times than he's failed me or proved me right. So I'll keep saying he's going to do bad and watch him do good, I guess.
For sure. And you got to remember as well, I think that you can pick, he's one of these guys where you can pick apart his physique, especially like in photos. You can go, oh, he needs this or that or whatever. But then I saw some iPhone photos close up and I'm like, you see a lot less of it. But I think if you were actually there watching, you'd see a lot less of those weaknesses and you'd see the freak factor and go, wow. Because that's what I saw when I saw Branch Warren in person and William Bonac. You just don't see those weaknesses as much because they are so granite hard or bubbly or whatever that it just almost like shocks you.
Dude, yeah. Nick fucking killed it at the Olympia, bro. He looked
top 3, man.
He looked incredible, dude. The improvements he made from last year and stuff, man, like the kid's he's locked the fuck in, man. He's coming for it. He's definitely there.
Stan, your first comment that comes up when I open this says the energy you gave on stage while posing was awesome, bro. How much difference did you think that made?
You can feel the confidence. You can feel he's happy to be there. You can feel it, like just he wants to battle, and I think that gets the crowd, and that gets people behind him, and of course the judges they hear that, they hear the reaction of the crowd, so it's definitely going to push the judging in the right direction for him.
Yeah, for sure.
And plus, he's like one of the first to hit every pose, and he doesn't move. Like he can hold it for 30 seconds straight.
Like a statue, man. He does a great job.
Yeah,
he's an awesome poser. And to be honest, it was cool to see him put a lot of effort into his posing routine. That was cool.
Yeah, that was cool too.
Instead of like 10 most musculars, he put on a show. I liked it, man. That was cool.
Yeah, I appreciate anyone that puts a lot of effort into their routine. It is something that I think I want it to be brought back. I want it to be more of a spectacle because it's the nature of the internet at the moment. It's more about. Sorry.
It goes a long way.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely. And the thing is, as well, like if it was I think because of YouTube, to be honest, like you got like channels like Mark's Max Muscle who does an awesome job, just a lot of comparison videos he does. Which they're side by side sort of ones, or they're ones where it's a guy from this contest and a guy from that contest, and he just sort of compares them. And it's come down to a lot of time now, like where I do it, and I go, oh, let's go pose by pose because it's the most easy thing to do. Because looking at a video individually of these guys, it's just because we know the routines aren't even judged. What's the point of actually going through the routines and looking at them when you can just compare them side by side, which is where the contest is actually decided. So it's sort of taken the posing out of it, which sucks. So I'd love to see it come back in so we have guys like Nick and stuff working on it way more. And I just wanted to mention as well, Brandon Curry, obviously finishing in 4th place. For you guys, was it just a conditioning thing, Stan?
I think so. I mean, he just came in really full. He doesn't have like the deepest separation on his legs, and his upper body being so big and round and full, it just emphasized the size difference with his legs. But he was big, you know. But I think he spilled over a little bit.
Yeah, no, I agree. Marty?
Yeah, man, I just think he's starting to get old, to be honest. They did put some size on him, but I think you can just start to see that his physique is starting to say, like, all right, we're coming to the end. It's just not working the way he wants it to. But he's still a top 5 in the world, man. He looks incredible. Like, it just from when he won to now, like, I haven't seen a lot of improvement, if I'm being honest. I do think his legs got a little bigger, but I don't think his physique has changed a lot.
I think the issue is, like, he didn't go out to Kuwait long enough before the last 2 contests he did prior to this one. And then he went out there early this time and they did put the size on, but then they focused too much on size and sacrificed a little bit too much of that conditioning. And I think he just needs to find that exact combo and just nail it. And then I think he'll be sweet. But anyway, let's wrap this thing up, guys. Do you have any final thoughts on the Olympia? And we're going to do some, a little bit more in terms of the whole like breakdown, I'm sure, over future weeks, and talk about guys like Andrew Jack, who was awesome in his first Olympia, Ian Balliere, and all that sort of stuff as well. So we're going to go deeper on it in another episode in a couple of days, hopefully. But do you guys have any final thoughts on the 2022 Mr. Olympia that you want to share?
I mean, I would like to
go ahead.
No, I wanted to hear what you said last time that got cut out. You know, the thing about Heidi. I thought that was great. That was good observation.
Yeah. So my thing, the 2 things I want to say is we talked about at the beginning of this, Hadi has some hearing impairment issues, with Ariel being a audiologist. She knows all about hearing aids and stuff, and she can tell that he doesn't hear as well. So that's part of why he's struggling to learn English as well. But because of that, he has to use his other senses to be able to soak in the crowd. He can hear the rumble necessarily, but he can't hear individual noise and where it's coming from. So if you watch that video when he holds that trophy up and you see him look at the crowd, he's listening with his eyes. And the intense stare that he had at the crowd, man, it gave me chills. Like, you can see how much he loves this sport, how much he loves every one of these fans, and every bit of work that he put into it. And, like, man, I mean, like, it almost makes me want to play. Like, how he looked at the crowd, the way he really was listening with his eyes and soaking in that moment so much, man. And it was an incredible moment. If you guys get the chance, go watch Gilco's video. I could watch it over and over, man. That was the coolest thing of the whole Olympia. And then outside of that, this will be the last damn time I'm sitting in the stands. That's all I got to say about that. So.
Oh yeah. Hopefully for you too, Stan, man. And hopefully, like, it's really hard for me to get someone to do a podcast like around the Olympia next year, because obviously all you guys are competing in it. Because yeah, it was literally just a group of guys that were freaking like 1 spot away or 1 point away or whatever. Like, it was just so ridiculous. But next year, hopefully that changes for all you guys, and we get to see, you know, you guys, Brett, Nathan Diasha, like all the dudes on that Olympia stage killing it. Sergio as well, who's obviously appeared on the podcast that we'll have it on again soon. So there's a whole group of you guys. But, you know, people say one of the best Olympia lineups of all time. And by the end of everyone's careers, it might well be one of the best Olympia lineups of all time. But there was still so many good guys missing. So that makes it so exciting for 2023. And the fact that there's going to be less shows to qualify in as well, these shows are going to be more stacked this coming year because it is a shorter contest season. We had 14 months or so last time, and this time we're going to have about 10 or a little bit over 10 and a half months. So we had contests with the same contest 1 year after the other one, but qualified people for the same Mr. Olympia, which is this year's. So there will be less competitors next year, no matter what, even if they keep the qualification rules the same. So at least that will save Jake Wood money, and hopefully we get more prize money next year for you guys based on that alone, because he had to pay for 440 or 460 or something athletes for the Olympia or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much it is per athlete, but a couple of grand or whatever adds up plus the prize money. So anyway, thank you guys so much for coming on Desktop Bodybuilding once again. Stan, do you have any final thoughts? Or
No, I mean, it was an amazing weekend. It was great to have it back in Vegas. For me, that's really like the Olympia. It feels more like the Olympia. So yeah, next year is going to be in Orlando, and I hope after that we stay in Vegas.
Yeah, I think so, man. I just want to ask you one thing really quickly. It's about Flex Lewis's Dragon's Lair gym. Now, that just makes it seem like it's almost like there's a hub and there's a place to go, and it's almost like there's a home for like the Olympia. And it's just like, obviously it seemed like it was absolutely crazy there in terms of how many people were there and all that sort of stuff. And if you was a regular, you probably wouldn't have loved it as much. But the energy, man, coming out of that gym and just seeing people going through there and catching up and all that sort of stuff, it seemed like, I don't know, it just seemed different. Maybe it's just because of social media than different than past years. Like, did you guys feel that being there, like Stan, or?
Honestly, I haven't been to the Dragon's Lair during this Olympia, so it looked like super crowded. I don't think you could actually get a workout there, so I was training mostly at elevation. But it was just, I think there was 440 athletes in town qualified for the Olympia, and they were all, trying to get a workout. So every gym you went to, you ran into a lot of top athletes, and that was fun for sure.
Yeah, and that's what's cool as well, because there was so many athletes. Marty, did you feel that being there as well? Obviously, you with Ariel, who we should mention as well, finished third in the Fitness Olympia, and I think we mentioned it on the last one, but that got cut out. How was that for you?
Or
what's that?
I guess, are you going to post any of that, or are you going to clip that up at all? Or
I can do that. I'm trying to think of how the intro and everything would have gone in, but
yeah,
just give her a bit of a shout out now at least.
Yeah,
anyway.
That's what I was going to say. If not, like, this was a crazy Olympia for me, man. It was like the first time I've been the person behind the scenes helping versus being the main character, I guess.
Yeah, that would have been weird for you.
It was super weird, man, but it was super cool. She got third. It wasn't what she wanted. We all knew that. We all know that she could have won this, and
for sure,
she's very disappointed. But I saw the fire get lit even hotter, and I can't wait for her to go get her second Arnold title and defend it. She's already started creating a new costume and already started creating a new routine, and already back on diet. So she's got 10 weeks until the Arnold, and she's on it. So she will be back, and she'll be better than ever. But it was a cool weekend. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, she sounds like I interviewed Natalia Coelho yesterday, and she sounds a bit like her, man, like straight back on it. Like Natalia. Did you hear? I don't know if you heard it, but Natalia, what she did is, like, after she got off stage from winning the Olympia, she went into the notes on her phone and made all these notes to email Tyler Mannion, email Steve Weinberger, email these people, and ask them what she can improve for next time. So she made these notes, I think, like after she got off the Olympia stage, and then she emailed them all the next morning. I'm like, holy crap. So it sounds like Ariel's like that a bit.
Very, very much so. Very much so. So that was super cool, man. As far as the Dragon's Lair, we did not take her over there. We kept her away, let her do her routine away from everybody else. But I went over there and trained a bit with Dominic Nichols, Chad's oldest boy.
I saw that, man.
Yeah, we got some good gym time in, man. He's a really good kid. He's coming up the ranks, wants to be older. So that was fun to spend some time with him and just the whole thing. So I love Dragon's Lair. It was great. To be honest, we had our best lifts over at Powerhouse. I do got to give New Tech a shout out. They have some of the best fucking equipment I've ever used on the planet. And that's what they have.
Oh, really?
So Iris and Hiatada, their gym over there is incredible too, man. To be honest, Vegas is full of awesome gyms. I didn't go to Elevate, but everybody said the same thing about it. Vegas is just a honey hole of beautiful gyms. I mean, even their Las Vegas athletic centers are pretty badass, to be honest. So, it's a great place to be a bodybuilder and have a good time. And all the gyms, to be honest, had a great vibe because everybody's there to just enjoy bodybuilding, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you so much for doing this episode. I know we went a little bit over, but I remembered some stuff that was sort of left out a bit. So I thought, yeah, rather than me edit this all up later and try to put something in there or put it out as something separate, it'd be better just to get it done. So thank you guys so much for doing this. I know it's late where both of you guys are. But anyway, that's it for this episode. I encourage you guys to check out these guys on social media. All the links are in the description below. Check them out on YouTube as well. Also, check out all their sponsors and all that stuff. Check out Muscle Tech, who's sponsoring the channel now as well as of 1st of Jan officially, but they've come on board early. But yeah, thank you guys so much for doing this once again. So that's it for myself, Xavier Wills, Stanmial, Stan DeLonge, and Martin, the Martian Fitzwater, who's in a room with mushrooms all over the wall. And what was that thing you showed me the other day?
It's my little brother's room, bro.
Nice.
He's a little stoner. I showed up at home. I like looked through his closet. He wears all the same type of clothes as me. His shoes are all like the same as mine.
Yeah.
I'm like, I see you, little bro. I see you. He started lifting weights now. Okay. And he told mom, like, don't tell Martin until I get big. I don't want to tell him until I'm like kind of big.
How old's your brother now?
He's 18, but he like just started lifting this year. But he's like full send in it now. He's like, I'm eating 5 meals a day, but I can't gain weight. I'm like, you're not eating enough. I know what you're eating shit.
Yeah. You're eating nuggets. Like.
Yeah, but it's cool, man. Like I said, it's awesome to be home and spend some time with some family. It's a little bit, get away from bodybuilding and visit friends from college and all that kind of stuff. That's just away from the bodybuilding world. And then January 1, baby, locking back in a damn box.
Hell yeah. Grown like a motherfucker too, I'm sure. But, anyway, guys, have an awesome Christmas. Have a good New Year's. I'm sure I'll speak to you guys obviously before the New Year's and probably send you all a Christmas message and stuff like that. But yeah, thank you so much, obviously, for everything you guys have done this year and appearing on the channel and stuff. It's honestly, it's meant so much to me. I've thanked, a lot of the other guys as well already, and I think probably you guys privately too. But yeah, I just want to say thank you publicly as well, because it does mean a lot that you guys come on the channel, believe in the channel, and hopefully in 2023 we can grow this into something massive, and you guys can grow to obviously be on the Olympia stage. And Stan, you've done it in Classic, but for everyone getting back on that Olympia stage and just fucking killing it in 2023. So
yes, sir.
Thanks to you guys once again. So that's it for myself, Xavier Wills. I already did this. Stanmial, Stan DeLonge, and Martin, the Martian Fitzwater.
Merry
Xavier
Christmas,
Wills.
everybody.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Xavier Wills, Best of Bodybuilding. We are out.